sure many of you remembering your marriage vows. For better, for worse. In sickness or in health. I got a couple in here. Thomas and Francisca. Been married for 11 years, since 2007.
I've let all of my feelings show.
Francisca is living with epilepsy. But they're here together strong with their two beautiful daughters, Pearl and Albertina. Next to them, I have neurologist Dr. Albert Akpalu. We'll be talking about epilepsy, what it is, and whether there's really life after the diagnosis. Would you marry somebody you know to have epilepsy? You can share with me 0244-340-437. Tell somebody next to you. The program is Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7 FM. Wow, Thomas, Francisca, Albert, or Dr. Palu, you're most welcome.
Albert, it's fine. Thank you.
Yeah. Sometimes when I call you Albert, it doesn't sound elevated enough for my listeners.
It's me.
Right. The neurologist is back, touching so many lives. Anytime I have you on the program, or anytime I mention you, people are telling me he looked after my dad, or he did this, he did that. And when I read, Thomas's, caption where he says, well, he's even named his second daughter, Albertina, after you. How does it make you feel?
I think that's what makes me happy. I think that's what ultimately we strive for, to make our patients happy. And I'm especially happy to be here because our patients living with epilepsy, I'm happy you use the word living with epilepsy.
Right.
Anybody who says the word epileptic should be arrested.
Arrested? Okay.
Yeah. So living with epilepsy.
Okay.
So that is dignified. That shows that these people are
we recognize them as normal, regular human beings. Right. Okay. Yes. Having said that, and you're the neurologist, my reading suggests to me that at least 1% or above of Ghanaians are living with epilepsy.
Yes.
And we're about 29 million plus.
Yes.
So that's
almost 300,000 more.
Right.
So there's an unmet gap. We have something called the treatment gap. So the number of people who have epilepsy who do not have treatment or who do not have access to care or who cannot see somebody who recognizes this as epilepsy is about 85%. So there's a big mountain to climb. So
we could be around 600,000 people, Ghanaians.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's important for us to share the message to make people aware of the condition, aware that people living with epilepsy can live normal life.
Okay, coming from you, that's gratifying. Yes. But let's establish what it is before we bring in Thomas and Francisca. So we're talking about what? A brain condition?
So it's a chronic. It's a chronic non-communicable disease. So let me stress that. It's a non-communicable disease.
You can't catch it from somebody.
You can't catch it from somebody.
Okay.
In the olden days, people still today in the 20th century, 21st century, people think that if I sneeze and some of the droplets get you and I'm living with epilepsy, you can get epilepsy.
You cannot catch.
You cannot catch. If
Epilepsy
you walk in my shadow, you cannot catch epilepsy. If I touch you, you cannot get epilepsy.
If you foam at the mouth and I touch the saliva.
It is not. So it is a chronic non-communicable disease.
Okay.
Which is evident by recurrence to unprovoked seizures. So you have a seizure is just a sign and symptom of abnormal electrical activity in your brain. So it depends on where you have the abnormal burst of electrical activity in your brain. You have symptoms and signs.
Okay, let's slow it down for my listeners. Okay. So normally there's electrical activity in the brain.
There's ordered chaos in our brain.
Okay.
Now, if something happens and you have a surge of electrical activity, like
high voltage.
Right. Let me add that in.
Okay.
So
you had to add that.
I had to add that.
Okay.
So when the surge comes, then you have abnormal electrical activity. There's a surge. So you have so it depends if it's on the side of your brain that makes you move on your left side. You should be shaking on the left side.
Okay.
It may be associated with foaming of the mouth. You may bite your tongue. You may fall down. You may fall asleep. Some people don't have any symptoms and signs like that. So for children, they just blink or absent-minded in the classroom. Some people have it when they are reading. Some people have it when they are laughing. So there are lots of symptoms and signs. So it is that surge of electrical activity, and it's a brief moment, 1, 2, 3 minutes maximum, and it comes back to normal.
Okay. Coming from you, a neurologist, it's sounding very easy to explain, very, should I say, simple.
Simple, yes.
Why does epilepsy have a bad name, and why is there so much stigma and discrimination when it comes to epilepsy?
It has a bad name because people associate mysticism to it. Something that you cannot explain. Something what will make a man sitting with you, laughing, talking, suddenly seize, fall down, shake, and within 5 minutes he's back and talking to you. So there must be some mysticism associated with it.
So it's based on our ignorance,
it's based on ignorance and fear and misconceptions.
Right.
So one of our traditional healers who we are engaging in helping to treat people with epilepsy, one of them says that there's a spiritual epilepsy and a physical epilepsy. So he can tell the one which is physical, he'll send to me. The one that is spiritual, he'll keep. So, so we have to break those myths.
We need everybody to understand.
Yeah.
Okay. If you've just joined us, it's about 14 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. The program is Ultimate Health, your ultimate guide to healthy living. We're redefining health talk and making sure that it reaches you and not only informs you, but transforms you. You just heard speaking Dr. Albert Akpalu. He's a consultant neurologist at the Korle Bu Teaching Hospital. We're talking about epilepsy, essentially a brain event, a brain disorder where the electrical activity in the brain becomes abnormal and causes all sorts of problems in behavior, in thought, sometimes in perception and other things. And I have in the studio with me, let me call them an exceptional couple in the sense that they've been married for 11 years. And despite what I'm saying about discrimination and stigma, Thomas, the husband, went ahead to marry his wife, Francisca, who has or is living with epilepsy. Despite that, Thomas.
Yeah.
Right. Albert, the neurologist, is sharing with us that there's a lot of ignorance about this. Yeah. At the time that you met and started, let me say, courting Francisca, did you have any understanding, any notion, any awareness of epilepsy?
No. We say that the first time we met at church. Okay, so she visited my home the first time, and then her second visit, that was a day interval. Her second visit, I was there with my friend. We were all sitting when my friend just exited the area we were. And then she had a seizure.
From the first day? Yeah. She had a seizure.
The second day she visited my home, then she had a seizure
right in front of you.
Yes, man. You know what? the life in me ran away. Seriously, because I didn't know what was happening. And the fact that I was there with her just the moment that my friend stepped out, it happened. If anything is happening, how would I explain? If something happens to her, how would I explain? So I was really afraid. It really frightens me. But for a short moment, I just held her hands, and then everything just ceased.
Wow.
And then she came back to normal, and I realized that she was just recovering. So then I started asking, what happened? What is wrong with you? You know, then that was when she recovered fully, then she has to tell me, this is the problem I have.
So from the second day, she actually disclosed to you that...
Yeah, from the second day it happened, and then I asked questions, and then she disclosed to me that this is the problem. This is what I'm dealing with. I said, wow. But you see, I remember telling her that, you know, the account have a proverb. It said, Ntuma katanyama. Okay, so meaning trying to bring that in, I help her understand that in this life we are living in, everybody have his own problem.
Are you being honest with us? I mean, you know, looking back, right now I know you're a strong advocate, but I mean, the average Ghanaian,
probably,
I can remember somebody having a seizure around Bishop Bowers. This is very close to Korle Bu, and I know, Albert, you went to Bishop Bowers, eh?
No.
You didn't?
I was a PTH.
You were a PTH man, sorry. Somebody was telling me they were in class with you. All right? But right there, on the road leading to Korle Bu, cars were avoiding this person. I was trying to help this person. This several years ago. And then a young girl who was nearby asked her to go into her house and bring a bucket of water because the person had messed themselves up, wanted to clean the person up. So she came with the bucket of water, and her mother came screaming after her, "Don't you dare use that bucket!" And the mother threw the water away and took the bucket and brought a different container. Because the thinking was, Albert, that this context. Right. So are you telling us the truth?
You know, I tell people that the way we are raised can have effect on us and what we do.
Okay.
I was raised by a soldier.
Right.
So I live my life like a lion. Okay, before God the man, God is my witness. You know, for a moment I was frightened with
Okay.
what was happening. But after she explained to me, I think she will be the best person
Yeah,
to say this.
I was coming to her.
What I told her,
Right.
that everybody has problem, because you know, normally when things like this happen, you expect that the gentleman will say, "Oh, don't come to my house again," or the gentleman will be avoiding you, and you yourself in your mind, you know that way he will avoid me.
Right. So
But from
day
there, I assured her that, see, you can come to my home. Everybody have his own problem. People have their problem because something is covering it or it has not happened.
Okay.
Because when I see you, nothing shows that you have epilepsy until it happens now.
Okay. All right. Great. If you just joined us, it's 19 minutes past the hour of 2 on Ultimate Health, Joy 99.7 FM. You're just listening to Thomas Labby. He's sitting next to his wife, Francisca, who is living with epilepsy. He's just sharing with us that on the second day after they met, she actually experienced a seizure right in front of him in his home. Francisca, tell us the truth. On that day, were you embarrassed? Were you ashamed? Were you frightened? What was it?
On that day, yes, I'm embarrassed because I've planned that I'll tell him. But I never knew it will happen around that time.
Okay.
So when he asked me, I told him everything.
Right.
And he told me that I shouldn't be worried. Everybody have his on their own problem. So I should come to his house every day I want. So that make me cool down.
Okay. Right. But it's a difficult thing, I mean, living with epilepsy. Before this incident at Thomas's house, you must have been aware of this. I'm told you were diagnosed at age 6.
Yes.
So before that, had you learned to hide this?
Before I hide it, but later I decided that that thing will never help me. So anybody or any friend I get closer to him or her, I will told him or her that
Right.
this is my problem.
Okay.
So in case if it's happened, you will help me.
Okay. Great. If you have any experiences to share, questions, 0244-340-437 is my WhatsApp number. Albert, I mean, she had a seizure. Of
Yeah.
course, she's been diagnosed way prior to that.
Yes.
But how do we diagnose epilepsy? Is it one
epilepsy,
seizure or what?
it's a clinical diagnosis.
Okay.
So with the new definition, you need at least 2. So let me remind everybody that everybody's entitled to 1 seizure in your lifetime.
That doesn't mean you
That
have
doesn't
epilepsy.
mean you have epilepsy. Now, if you
Right.
have a recurrence, so if you have 2, within 24 hours, 2 within a day, 2, 1 in 2016, 1 in 2017
Right.
or 2018, if it's within, you have 2, then you have epilepsy.
You will be
You'll
clinically,
be clinically
diagnosed.
diagnosed with epilepsy.
Right. Now, some of my reading suggests or classifies or qualifies this as 2 unprovoked.
Provoked seizures, yeah.
What does that mean?
So when we say an unprovoked seizure, so means that one, you haven't gone to drink some bitters and alcohol in excess and you didn't eat, and then you get a seizure, or you're a diabetic, you take your anti-diabetic medications too much and you go into your blood sugar goes low, you get a seizure. Or somebody gives you a big blow to your head, or an Okada driver without a
so
helmet.
what
you
you're
fall
saying
down.
is that you've had an
Unprovoked
unprovoked seizure, which
yes.
cannot be better explained by any other.
thing, yes.
Right. And if you have 2 or more of that,
Then you have a tendency to recur, then you have epilepsy.
Okay.
So
right.
then we'll try and look for the cause.
Okay. Before we get to cause, so what about children who, in infancy have what we
Yes.
call
febrile convulsions. yes.
convulsions?
So a febrile convulsion is a seizure you get when your temperature is above 38, so
Okay.
something like that. So when you get that, now if you get 2 or more febrile convulsions, then it gives you a predisposition to epilepsy.
But it is not epilepsy.
It is not epilepsy.
Because
So
it's
febrile-
triggered by
it's
the
triggered
high
by the high
temperature.
temperature, yes.
Right.
So that is what the difference is. So actually the history goes back
Okay.
to lots of things. So taking a history from somebody with seizures, we miss a lot of seizures in children because teachers are supposed to be trained to pick that up. Parents are should be able to pick that up. So they are very subtle in children. We call this the absence type of. They are there. I'm sitting with you. My eyes are blinking. If you're not paying attention to me, it goes, and then we move on. So we need to pick these up early so that we can treat, because seizures damage the brain. That's the message I want to give.
Okay.
The seizures do damage the
They
brain.
damage the brain.
So we need to stop seizures.
Okay. We'll explain what a seizure is and what is happening to a person during a seizure. Are they in danger? What should we do? Right? These are very important, critical things that we should all know, especially having established that it's quite common.
Yes.
Right? So we will still plod ahead. Hello, Norte. Dr. Palu has been of immense support to a lot of us. God bless him. Kudos to Thomas for the great job. He's an inspiration. The stigmatization is a problem on its own we are yet to eradicate, because I'm sure some medical staff will not allow their children to get married to somebody with epilepsy. This is from Efia. I can't agree with you more.
That's very true.
This is from Dede in Maryland. She says, 1, is it a myth or a fact that during a seizure, it is a must that only a silver spoon must be forced between the clenched teeth to stop the seizure, or is it to avoid the biting of the tongue? Should it only be a silver spoon or any other small object that can prop open the clenched teeth? Is it necessary at all? This is from Dede in Maryland.
Dede, thank you very much. This is a recurring problem. Now the new rules that when somebody has a seizure, do not put anything into the person's mouth.
Okay.
When the persons have a seizure, the teeth are clenched, so you cannot. If you try forcing anything, you dislodge the teeth.
Okay.
The person will aspirate. You rather harm them. You cannot swallow your tongue. Your tongue is fixed to the base of your jaw. So you bite it, but you cannot bite. You cannot swallow the tongue. So please, all health personnel. I've been to somewhere, even in my own hospital, with the first aid of seizures. Put something to the mouth. No. So I took a ladder and
do not put anything
into
the mouth of a person experiencing
we
a
get
seizure.
People coming to the emergency with mobile phones, shoes, anything put into the people's mouth. Please do not. So if you don't learn anything from this program, do not put anything into a patient's mouth having a seizure. Leave him alone.
Great.
Let him be.
Let them be.
Yes.
So that, having said that, that tells me that a seizure should pass.
It should pass. Usually 2 to 3 minutes, it passes. Now, if it goes beyond 5 minutes, then we need to take some action. But normal seizure, 2-3 minutes maximum, leave the person alone, move the patient away from harm. If I'm having a seizure and I'm banging my head here, move me away, move the chest away, let me lie down away from harm. My seizure will settle.
It'll pass by itself. It'll subside.
To subside. You cannot hold me and try and set a line. That is not feasible. Do not push me down. Do not pour water on me. Do not pour palm oil. Yes, pray, but do not pour anything on me. Let me be. The seizure will pass. And it's the aftermath of the seizure that we take action.
Okay. So, Dede, I hope whether silver or whatever, shoe, mobile phone, according to the neurologist here, leave the person alone, make sure they're away from any danger or harm, and then the seizure will subside by itself. At that point, Dr. Palu, is the person in danger?
The person in danger, yes, in harming himself.
Okay.
So you move him away from sharp objects, from heavy things. Just let him be. If you have a pillow or you have a coat, just put it under his head to avoid him banging the head. Don't put anything into his mouth.
Okay.
Now, the only place I'll act, if it's maybe he's wearing a denture, for instance, then we'll take the denture out. Or if he's wearing a tie, he's wearing a long sleeve. If he's wearing a tie, you just loosen the button and just let him be. It is difficult.
So that they can breathe.
He can breathe.
Okay.
It's difficult for people not to do anything, but just let him be. Form a circle, a protective circle, and just let the person be. The seizure will end. Then you turn the person on his lateral side, left lateral side, so that any saliva drooling will come down, and the patient or the client will wake up. He will wake up. He may be drowsy, or he may be confused.
Right.
He may have wet himself or soiled himself. That's your duty now, to cover him and help to clean him up, and let him sit down.
Okay. Right. Let the person be. Loosen any tight clothes or anything that might obstruct breathing, respiration, and then put them in a good position. Thomas is nodding at me. Did you do that on the second day?
He ran away.
In fact, the second day, I
or the first day you saw her.
The first day I saw it, because I didn't know much about it. Okay, I didn't do anything. All I did was I was just there scared, and then I had a feeling to hold her. Because to the moment I held the hand, the thing stopped. Okay, so in my mind, when you hold it, the thing will stop. Okay, but from there, moving forward, I captained my uncle who brought me up, who taught me a lot of the things that I do, told me, because people went to tell him that I'm moving with a girl who has this dangerous disease. So he called me.
Fila no get leg.
Serious, serious. They walk out like something.
Okro mouth.
Ah.
Wait, carry on. They went to give him fila.
Yes, when I have not told him. So he called me and then he asked me, is it true that Francisca Abba is having epilepsy? I said yes. Then the first question he asked is, how much do you know about the condition? Okay, in my quest to defend her, I said, I know much. I know much. And then it's okay. And you are comfortable, you want to go ahead and marry her. I said, I want to do that. He said, good. Now, I want you to do this for me. I want you to meet Dr. Palu. At that time, I have escorted Francisca to her clinic on several times, but I have not met with Dr. Palu. You know, he's always busy. But that day when...
I don't know.
So I'm telling you, he's very, very busy.
All right.
Okay.
Thomas, do you have a lawyer?
You see, so when Captain gave me this assignment, I told Francisca, I want to see Dr. Palu. So that was where I was taken to Dr. Palu's office at the medical block. And then I was Francisca officially introduced me to Dr. Palu.
Right.
And then Dr. Palu told me everything about epilepsy.
But at this point, had you even expressed any interest? Were you guys serious? Were you engaged at this point?
At that time, I have expressed interest in marrying her. Okay, so that had been because we knew each other for like almost 2 years before we got married.
Okay.
And then I got to know she had a condition just like 2-3 days. Barely 5 days when we got to know each other. So that was where Dr. Palu gave me a pamphlet. And then he said, go and make photocopy and bring it back to me and learn more, because he realized that I was really ready for the tax. And behind the pamphlets, I saw www.epilepsy.com. And that was the beginning of my learning.
You started learning.
Good. So a lot of the things he has said, so when I go out and do an awareness program, I teach them, I can say them offhand, I know them, and we have experienced them in the house.
So essentially, Thomas, you were going to apply for a job and you wanted to grab the relevant experience and training.
Wow, sure.
So that you get the job. So you started learning about your wife-to-be's condition.
Before we got married.
Before you got married.
Yeah.
Francisca, how did this make you feel? This is a gentleman who's expressing interest not only in you, but everything you come with.
Yes, I was very happy because
didn't your family warn you that, by all means, he'll leave you?
No. As for us, we did everything secretly. The time you...
Once you say it on Joy, it's not a secret.
We did everything secretly. When we were ready, then we came forward that we are coming to marry. So even my family was surprised that, hey, we are here with you. You didn't say anything to us. This and that. So his parents came to my parents and fixed everything. So they were surprised that somebody is coming to marry me, because plenty people have come forward and they said they are going to come. They will not come back
again.
Right.
So then let me just get a little background.
Let me just repeat what she's saying. You have several suitors. They come forward and they say, what? They give you wiper.
They are coming.
They are coming back. They are going to prepare.
Yes, and they will not come.
And then they don't come
back.
Wow. Yes, Doc.
So that is one of the stigmas that you want to bring the misconception down. Unfortunately, in our Ghanaian context parlance, when you're going to marry, they ask whether there's any wife beater in the house. Then the next one they ask is epilepsy.
Right.
If someone is living with epilepsy in the family, they take heels, they take their bags and they run away.
They're asking for the pink sheet
of
the family.
The pink sheet of the family.
And they want to make sure that there's nothing
we have so many examples. We've had a couple, they were dating, and usually I ask our clients to bring their boyfriend so that we talk to them. So one, she went, they had done engagement, and the night before the wedding, I think they wanted to go and test the goods, which is not good.
Right.
So they went, and unfortunately during the process, she had a seizure, and that was the end of the marriage. So the
man had the seizure.
No, the lady had a seizure, and then that was the end. So usually it's not a problem from the ladies. It's not a problem when it's the ladies. It's not a problem when it's the men, but for the ladies.
So when a man has epilepsy, he has a stronger chance of getting married or getting a partner. But if it's a woman, the stigma and the discrimination is worse. Wow. 33 minutes past the hour of 2 on Joy 99.7 FM. This is so revealing. We're talking about epilepsy, living with epilepsy, for better or for worse. I have Thomas and Francisca Labi with me. If you go onto our Facebook page, you probably see pictures of them. They're looking so lovely coming from church with their two daughters, Pearl and Albertina. who are in the studio annex. We couldn't have them in the studio, right? But they're right here, living testimony that it works, and Thomas's decision has been vindicated or validated, and they continue to live with it. If you have any questions, concerns, 0244-340-437, join 99.7 FM. We're live on Facebook and YouTube. Good afternoon, please. If the seizure occurs in the person's sleep, can that be classified as epilepsy? This is from Susan in Damfa or Susan Damfa.
Yes, so we have some classification of seizures occurring only at night. So we call those nocturnal seizures.
Okay, right. I was going to come and ask you the causes. Let me just read this. Good afternoon, Norte. Keep up the good job. The gentleman is courageous and God will bless him. Please, what is the cause of epilepsy? Exactly what I was going to ask you.
So the cause, so we have, let me divide into three. One is structural. So is there a break in the wires? Let's say your brain is 6 billion nerve cells all dotted together in ordered chaos. So there's already ordered chaos. So if there's a break in them, there'll be chaos. So you have an accident, you fall down from a motorbike, hit your head, there's an infection, there's a growth or a tumor in your brain, you have a bad infection, malaria, gives you a scar, you have a structural problem. Two is a metabolic problem. Sometimes, for some reason which you can't explain, people have increased surges of electrical activity in their brain. So we call those metabolic. Now, where the problem comes from is that about 50% of seizures, we do not know what the cause is. So that is where the spiritualist and the mysticism comes in. That if you don't know the cause of something, then somebody caused harm.
Okay.
So that is our bane in Ghana.
Okay.
Nobody dies a natural death. Even if you're 100 years, somebody killed you. If you're having a seizure, somebody must be causing that seizure. So we spend our time trying to find out who instead of what
we need to do.
Of what we need to do.
Okay. Yes. Right. Dede has just sent this. Doc, you mentioned to turn the person onto their left side to drain the saliva, if any. Should it only be on their left side? Can the accumulation of the saliva during a seizure choke the person? Exactly what we're trying to avoid.
We usually use the left lateral position as a position of recovery for certain reasons. So you can turn it to any side, but usually we prefer the left lateral.
Okay.
So that the saliva comes out.
Okay. Doc, how do I remove the dentures from a person with clenched teeth? I'm told they can chew one's fingers seriously if you attempt.
So that's it. So you just keep, if it's beginning, there are various phases. Now there's a tonic phase where they clench themselves,
where they're rigid.
Where they are rigid. Another phase when they are shaking. So if you catch them during the phase, you can take the denture out. Otherwise, just leave them lie down. Let them lie down. In the recovery phase, you can take it out, but do not attempt to put your fingers or anything into somebody's mouth who's having a seizure. They'll chew it.
Okay, right. The first time I saw this condition on a friend, I was scared. He was shaking, and I was told to use a spoon in his mouth. Thomas is the man. Referring to you. Thumbs up to you. This is from Listowel in Teshi. Thanks for the education. You can share yours, 0244-340-437. We're living and learning about epilepsy. Yes,
so back before Abba got treated, she was in several places. She was in a prayer camp. She was sent to a camp. Some of our patients get chained. Some of our patients get beaten. Some of our patients get starved. Some of them are listed as witches and whatnot. So it took her auntie to bring her, who is a nurse, who took her to bring her out and bring her for treatment. So I just want to say that with bringing people out of the shadows, that's what we are trying to do.
So we need the seizures controlled.
Once they are controlled, they
can do anything?
They can do anything. And we have so many examples of people who've been hidden at home.
Right.
People are hiding their children or wards living with epilepsy at home because of the stigma. There's no stigma. Let them come out. Let them have treatment. And we have lots of them. They've gone to school. They are doctors, lawyers, judges, politicians.
Right.
You cannot be a pilot for obvious reasons, but they live a normal, healthy life once their seizures are controlled.
Okay. Right. You use the word treatment. You use the word control. You've talked about management. Let me ask the big one, which most Ghanaians, most Africans will ask. Can epilepsy be cured? Does it go away?
So I'll use the law of thirds. In 1/3 of patients, of clients who are living with epilepsy, with treatment, the seizures go away. They are cured.
Are they pronounced as cured?
They are pronounced as...
They will not need treatment again.
They will not need treatment again. That's if they've gone over treatment for a period of time. Another third, if you've been having 10 seizures and we drop it to 1, that because you may have a structural lesion in your brain, that is what there's a structural lesion. So there'll be an unerring end for you to be having increased electrical activity. So we need a medication to bring that down.
Right.
Now, unfortunately, in another third of patients who have structural lesions or who have other neurological conditions, we cannot reduce the seizures. So they have recurrent chronic seizures. And then we need to do epilepsy surgery and other things for them.
Right. Those of you calling Dr. Apalu and causing a seizure on his phone, please leave him alone. I've locked him down for the whole of Ghana for now, till 3 o'clock. Now, Doc, let me ask you. So currently, what situation is Francisca in? And what was she in before? How many times was she getting seizures? And what's the situation now such that you call it control? Is she free?
She's not free. But Francisca used to have about 3 to 4 seizures per week.
In a week?
Even up to 7.
7 times a day.
7 times a day. Yes.
The other time we even experienced 30 within 24 hours. And that one, I even lost count of it. 30 within 24 hours. So
recurrent seizures.
Exactly.
So now, I think the last 6 months, she has not had a seizure.
Right.
So she's controlled on adequate doses of medication and follow-up. Now, we need to know what triggers the seizures. So when the patient comes to us, we have some commandments for them. Number 1, thou shalt not be angry. Thou shalt not be hungry. Thou shalt have enough sleep.
Right.
So those are the 3 common ones: anger, hunger, and not having enough
when you're
enough
hungry
sleep.
or angry, right? The Ghanaians will say both the same way.
I was trying to suppress the gallbladder. So
I've said it.
Anger, hunger.
So we turn it,
We
right?
turn it, okay.
But it's good. That will help the Ghanaians remember it,
So
right?
anger,
Yeah.
hunger, lack of sleep.
Lack of sleep.
So these 3
Unknown
things
triggers.
are known triggers
For all types of
for all
seizures?
types of seizures.
Right. So avoid them.
Avoid them.
Okay. Right.
So there are some schools in Ghana who have their breakfast after 2 preps, and a lot of our patients in those schools have seizures in the morning. So please, they have to eat.
Okay.
They have to have breakfast. They have to have lunch. They should not be hungry.
Right.
They should not be angry. They should have enough sleep. And the other things: alcohol, use of earphones, watching TV for prolonged periods, stress, lack of sleep. So these are the main triggers. Once we get this down.
So once you get to know yourself, you know your unique individual triggers. All right.
Triggers.
I'm going to activate the phone lines, and then probably I'll come back to Francisca to share with us whether she knows she's going to have a seizure. 0302-216-541. 0302-216-541. Those are the buttons to push to get in on Ultimate Health on Joy 99.7 FM. We're talking about living with epilepsy, for better or for worse, with Dr. Albert Apalu. He's a consultant neurologist. And then Francisca and Thomas, who look so much in love still. They are living with epilepsy. I'll ask them if they fight and if there are other issues, so that we don't blame it on epilepsy if you argue, right? But the phone lines are active right now. Francisca, do you know when you're going to have a seizure?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
How do you know?
I feel blur.
Right. Your vision becomes blurred.
Yes, blur.
Right.
So if I see that, then I'll run fast and sit where it's safe for me.
Okay. You know, so you try and get yourself.
Yes.
It's not something you can stop. So you prepare for its coming.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
You try and get some. So what if you're in a trotro or a taxi?
Yes, I'm already sitting.
Yeah. So it's too late.
Yes. So I'll
Wow.
I'll be there.
Okay. Right. Hello, Norte. I dated a white lady who had this condition, but I was afraid to marry her because of this. Her condition normally occurs during the night while she's sleeping and at most twice in a month. I congratulate my brother for his bold decision to marry this lady. God bless him. My name is Lawrence in Caxias do Sul in Brazil. All right, Lawrence, thanks for sharing and stay on the dial 99.7 FM. I have a caller on the line. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Noti.
Hi, Kissy.
Yeah, my boss.
How's Union go?
Our Union is good, Noti.
Right, share with us quickly.
Yeah, Noti, thank you very much. Thank you, and then thank you to Dr. Apalu, my senior in the studio. Okay, it's not very easy at all. Okay, getting married to someone with this condition. So, God bless you. And then I want to know, Dr. Apalu, whether some of the medications for the treatment are even covered by the NHIS, please. Thank
Okay.
you very much, Noti.
Right, Kissy, it's
For
been a while.
educating us.
Thanks for sharing. Right, I have John calling all the way from Bolga. John, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome. Share with us quickly.
Thank you very much. I want to ask the doctor a question. Is there something called epileptic psychosis?
Okay. All right, straight to the point. Thank you. Epileptic psychosis. Right, do we have another caller? Yes, I do. Hello.
Yeah, good afternoon, Nati.
Good afternoon. Who's speaking?
Yeah, this is Ajman Joseph, continue Tema.
Committee 9 Tema. Ajiman Joseph,
Yes,
you're
sir.
welcome. Share with us.
Yeah, you have been doing well bringing out these serious sicknesses, and it's helping a lot. Yeah, I want to ask the doctor. He was mentioning about excessive alcoholism. I was having a colleague at work, and he used to drink a lot, especially in the morning, when even there's no water, no food, nothing in the belly. And he would go for the alcohol as early as 4:30 to 5 o'clock. He did it continuously, and later on, he started getting the seizure. So I want to know if the alcohol enters into the blood that much. I mean, it will also come with it. And then my second question is, has this epilepsy got something to do with heart attack or heart-related issues?
Okay, great. Abdul is calling us from Amasaman. Good afternoon, Abdul.
Yeah, afternoon.
Right, shoot.
Yeah, my question is, I want to know from the doc whether somebody who have those conditions can be electricians, because some of these electricians sometimes climb high pools, high power, and I just want to know from you whether it's advisable for a person with that condition to be an electrician. Thank you very much.
Okay, occupational hazards. My lines are clear for now. Oh, no? I have another caller? Nope. All right. So, epileptic psychosis. No, I have another caller. Hello.
Hello?
Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes, Daniel, where are you calling from?
Yeah, I'm calling from Sunyani.
Sunyani, you're welcome
Yeah.
to Joy.
Please,
Share with us.
May I tell you to let the doctor clarify the diagnostic criteria for the epilepsy, like I missed it.
Again, okay.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Right. So let's take a break on the lines. Albert, Dr. Palu. So first, epileptic psychosis.
Yes, something like that exists after the seizure.
Right.
The person may be aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
The person may be calm or asleep. So
Right.
it's either one of
Okay.
them. So during that period, the person's aggressive. You try and calm them down. You keep them away from harm, and it settles.
Okay, done. Right. Occupational hazards.
Occupational hazards. Now, there are certain occupations that we don't allow persons living with epilepsy to have. Like,
Okay.
so you are driving a long distance truck, for instance, or you're driving the huge mines, flying being a pilot, and etc. So some of the occupations, when it happens, we discuss with our occupational therapist, and we find another job for you to do. So if you're an electrician, not all electricians climb high tension poles.
Okay.
There are some people who work with the electronic board, so
Right.
that is fine. So we may need to renegotiate.
The alcohol. I know we have
Yes.
substance-induced
Induced.
seizures.
Now, what he was having was called an eye opener. In the morning, he used to drink the alcohol to stop the shaking,
To balance.
to balance himself. Now, if that continues and he falls down and has a break in the electrical activity in his brain,
Yeah.
he will have epilepsy.
Okay, great. 47 minutes past the hour of 2 Ultimate Health. We're talking about epilepsy. Dede is back. I'm sure she's charged there. What about, she's in Maryland.
Yeah.
What about excitement to the extreme or during sexual orgasm? Can it cause seizures?
Yes and no. Unfortunately, some people have seizures when they're having sex. So when it gets there, we know how to deal with that. You may need to reduce the intensity or find something else to do, but we give you medication to bring that down. So yes, that happened. It does
Right.
happen, but it's not very common.
Okay.
Yes.
Right. So, yes, Thomas, you want to confess
if-
with regard to
but-
the sex?
No, but I want my wife to confess first. Do the first confession, so I'll do the second confession.
No fights.
You
No
see,
fights.
No marital.
No, but you see, it's true and it's very funny. And I don't know. Someone asked me. I think I shared this experience with Seth Kwame Boateng when we had a documentary.
Okay.
I Shake, I Fall, I Die. And yes, this happened to me. Yes,
Right.
it happened to me.
What happened to you?
In fact, the question
During sex.
they asked during
Right,
sex,
it's been
it happened.
repeated by Emmanuel Kwashi in Ashaiman, Lebanon. Please ask the lady what happens when the epilepsy comes during
She
sex.
continues.
Okay.
So okay, what happens? Can you say what happened?
Until lions have historians.
you know what? You
Let
know
me
there
speak
was
to the
there was okay.
Francisca,
They let her finish. When you finish, I'll tell
a friend
you
of
what
mine
I
will say, come out your mouth. Remove you and what happens during intimacy?
Yes, if we are having sex and it's coming, normally if I'm with him and it's coming, I'll call him honey, 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 honey. Then he will know that it's coming.
So what will he do?
So if it has happened twice,
the vice
or
president
so.
to say you and I were not there. What
It has happened twice, so I call him honey, honey, and he saw that it was coming, but he was still doing it. I was lying down,
So wait, hang on a sec. So you gave the alarm call, the code,
yes.
honey, honey, and he didn't hear anything.
He was
No,
in another
he was
he
busy.
saw that it was coming.
Thomas, advocate.
I want to call you. I'm afraid to call you. In fact, to call you naughty, I want to call. Let me call you uncle.
Yes, I know why.
What I'm going to say is heavy.
Yes.
You see, in me, I am one person. When I am in for something, I am in. If I am out, I am out, and I go in with everything.
Now I
that
know
is
why
in
you said
me.
it was heavy.
You understand? I go in with everything that is me. And in my mind, with all the wrong misconceptions, perceptions about epilepsy, and even I was told she can't give birth. But at that moment,
yes,
when it happened, she just beckoned on me and I knew it was coming. But Masa, let me tell you, see, this is my territory. What are we talking about? Who invited you here?
Dr. Balu.
Yeah.
Isn't this the time for him to put her in recovery position?
Oh, man. And then you know what happened? You see, in my mind, because someone asked me, why didn't you stop? And I said, you see, psychologically.
Discuss this outside?
No, but I go out, we go out and we do
on advocacy, right?
Yes. Okay, so I know there's no secret here.
Yeah.
I just want people to learn what I have learned, so we'll be able to save more people.
Right.
Because I learned it, I teach her, we now know what we have to do, and that is why she's doing very fine.
Great.
Okay, so when it happened, and then she called me that this and that, and I was just, to me, I said to myself, psychologically, I want to overcome this thing. And I don't know why you should come at this time. No.
Okay. Right. There's a question about treatment during pregnancy, right? But let me just, before you answer that, Dr. Palu, let me ask you. So have you educated the kids? I mean, Pearl and Albertina are outside. They look lovely. You're from church. Have you spoken to the kids about this? Because these things affect children, and their friends will ask questions.
They are so marvelous. You see, these children, I think they are God sent. Because, you see, I have not sat them down to tell them epilepsy is this, epilepsy is that. But you see, each time I go out for awareness program, I go with my children. Okay, and then they hear what I say. There are sometimes we get home and then they will even repeat the things I was saying whilst I was doing the awareness program.
Okay.
And you know, one day I was not in the house, and then the mother had seizure.
Right.
And then they knew, or they've been seeing that when mommy is having seizure, I put a pillow at the head,
Right.
and then I clear the environment of any sharp object,
Wow.
and then they were doing it.
Right.
So she called me after everything subsided. She called me and she was telling me that this is what has happened. I said, seriously, we are in for it. And there was a day I was there, it happened. I didn't do anything. I sat there and the two of them,
They took over.
This one was running and laughing and go and pick the pillow and come and put in this one. And they were just doing it as if nothing is happening.
Wow.
Okay, so it doesn't have any psychological effect on
Okay.
them. They know what to do.
Great. Hello, Doc. What treatment are we using in Ghana during pregnancy? Sodium valproate has been blamed for a lot of malformation in the UK. So what's the contingency for our mothers?
Yes, so
during
in
pregnancy?
Ghana, we do not use sodium valproate for our pregnant women. So for all women in the reproductive age group, all health personnel are to put them on folic acid. That's in our treatment guidelines, and switch them from sodium valproate. So we need to, so our clients need to tell us when they are going to get ready. So we have a lot of communication with them. So we use either carbamazepine or levetiracetam for our patients living with epilepsy who are in the reproductive age group.
Okay. Now it's from Dorcas, or was it Doris? Dorcas in the UK. Can I ask, because Kisi Nuningo asked, is any of this treatment covered by the NHS?
Yes. So the carbamazepine, phenobarb, and carbamazepine and phenobarbital,
these are
anti-epileptic agents, and
they
sodium
combat the
valproate.
seizures.
They combat the seizures. They are covered by the National Health Insurance.
Okay.
Now the problem is the availability. So we beg the suppliers, the supply chain, to make it available.
Okay.
We have projects we are doing. The Ghana Fights Against Epilepsy Initiative in the north.
Okay.
The people have medicines for 1 month, 1 month no medicine, and it goes on. So we need to improve our supply chain mechanisms, register more people in the National Health Insurance Scheme, and make epilepsy a program available at the Ministry of Health and the Ghana Health Service. Currently, it's hiding under non-communicable diseases. We need to bring it out and make it as big as malaria, HIV, TB.
Okay, right. Now, let me ask this treatment. So, Francisca is required to be on treatment for life, or?
So, for treatment for as long as we are monitoring the seizure. So, for Francisca, she's had it since she was 6. So, she is currently
and you're 45 now, right?
Yes.
Yes. So, it's an ongoing process.
Right.
Yes.
So if she's going to be declared free of seizures,
yes. So
it
she'll
will
have
be
to
you,
be
the doctor.
Yes.
Right.
She'll have had to have no seizures for 2 years at least.
She should have been free.
Free for 2 years.
Right.
And we do other ancillary tests.
Okay.
Like our EEG, electroencephalogram.
Okay.
Do a scan and then monitor.
Okay.
Monitor.
Now, Daniel wanted you to hit again because I asked you about the number of seizures and how do you diagnose. When are you told you have epilepsy?
So when you have at least two unprovoked seizures within a period of time. Now, you can also have a recurring propensity to have seizures. So you have a scar in your brain and you have one seizure. That can come again. So we better put you on medication to stop it from coming again because you may harm yourself. So there's a few do's. I think the stigma.
Right.
Persons living epilepsy they have a right to go to school.
Okay.
They have a right to work. They have a right to get married. And that is where the big problem is in our society.
Right.
We have a lot of clients who they come, no, this girl is useless. I can't get anything out of her. I challenge you. We bring her seizures down and let her get married.
Okay.
And we're getting a lot of babies, healthy looking babies.
Right.
They're getting married, they are going back. So we should give them that opportunity.
Okay.
And they are intelligent, beautiful ladies people are running away from because of that stigma.
Your advocacy is biased towards the women, but I can understandably so. Yes. But let me ask, should a person experiencing some of the things we've talked about, should they necessarily see a specialist, a neurologist?
So because we are not that many, so because there are not many, we've gone a lot out of over the last 5 years. We've trained about 2,000 specialists all over the country.
Okay.
As community health workers, community psychiatric nurses, medical assistants, doctors, nurses, all over the country to be able to recognize the early symptoms of epilepsy and to treat. So we've given them an opportunity as prescribers. So they can do the normal treatment. When it's becoming difficult, then they come to our tertiary centers in Kolebu, the psychiatric hospital. Now, let me bring that in now because epilepsy is not a psychiatric illness. Everybody repeats, epilepsy is not a psychiatric illness. Now, because of the colonial workings of the health system, epilepsy was initially covered under mental health because the treatment was free. Right. So people tended to congregate.
And even some doctors immediately refer you to the psychiatric hospital.
It is not. It is not a psychiatric.
Neurological problem.
It's a neurological problem.
Right.
So unfortunately, we are not that many. We are making efforts, but it is not a psychiatric condition.
Okay. Great. Right. Lots of, this is power packed, lots of information. But let me come to the couple. We have about 3 minutes left. Quick things you want to leave. 2 quick things each of you want to leave with my listeners. Yep, Francisca. Anything you want to tell, especially women who have this condition?
I want to tell them that they should go to hospital.
Right.
If they go to hospital, everything will be fine. And if you want to marry too, if you go to hospital, you'll be fine and somebody will take you as a wife.
Right.
And you will give birth. At times too, they say that you cannot give birth. You give birth.
You've got the evidence outside.
Yes.
Right. So go to hospital, seek treatment, don't hide. Yes, Thomas.
Have I forgotten what I want to say?
What quick things do you want to leave our listeners with? If there's anything that you don't want them to forget.
I say knowledge is power.
Right.
Okay. I seek knowledge and now I can do things and people think that I am not. I'm living beyond the normal.
Learned about it.
Okay,
right.
There are sometimes my wife wake up at dawn and she'll see me studying and then she'll say, "Won't you sleep?" But I was learning, so I'll be able to take care of her. And then when I realized that it's not just about my wife, but it is Ghana, I realized that I have a mission to accomplish. So I said, learn.
But you're a banker.
Yes, I am. I am a banker.
Okay.
And you see, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who you are or what you are. You see, if you want to be a blessing to the children of God,
Right.
you will. If you want to be a blessing to Ghana and our motherland, you will. And for me, I think that I'm on a mission.
Right.
I want to bless my country. I want to bless my family first, and then bless. That is why I always put my number on social media.
Okay.
If you know someone who have that condition, let the person call
You
me.
want to give out your number?
Yeah, I will.
Go
I
ahead,
will.
quickly.
0242 621716. I repeat,
Right.
0242 621716.
Right.
Let's talk. Because I do talk to them. I do encourage them. Do a little bit of that psychological thing
Right.
before I send them to Dr. Palu or Dr. Ajay or Dr. Nkrumah or any of them.
Okay.
And then they attend to them, and then we are good to go. So let's seek for the knowledge,
Right.
and let's stand for each other.
Okay.
It is very necessary.
Right. We've been so inspired. Dr. Palu?
Yes.
Right. So they should come to hospital.
Come to hospital. Reduce stigma.
Right.
Reduce stigma. Reduce the misconceptions. People with epilepsy have the right to education, have the right to marry, have a right to live a normal life.
Okay.
Treatment is available, and let us learn to disclose.
Okay. Right. Don't hide it, disclose it, share it, right?
Share it.
They say a friend is somebody who reaches for your hand but touches your heart. So we hope we've touched your hearts this afternoon. Many thanks to Abeku Sankofi, my producer, and to you, my listeners. You always make it worthwhile. Join us again next week for another edition of Ultimate Health, your ultimate guide to healthy living. My name is Norte by nature. I'm out.
Joy 99.7 FM.
Y'all ready? Joy 99.7 FM, a Labadi Beach Hotel presents the Joy Beach Jam. The Joy Beach Jam, yes, live at the Labadi Beach Hotel on the 1st of December 2018. The jam starts at 3 p.m. till the break of dawn.
Y'all gon' make me lose my mind. Up in here, up in here.
Pay 50 cedis at the gate and come enjoy good music, grills,